So let's review. At the end of the previous daf we learned, Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel, Ein mevarchen al ha'or ela b'motzei Shabbos, hoil b'tchilas briyasehu. The bracha of Baimer ha'esh is recited only on Motzei Shabbos, because that is when fire was first created. Rabbi Yochanan says, mevarchen al ha'or, bein b'motzei Shabbos, bein b'motzei Yom Kippurim, v'chein amad devar. Baimer ha'esh is recited both on Motzei Shabbos and Motzei Yom Kippurim, and that is the accepted custom. As Rashi explains, hoil v'davar chadash hu sheneser by kol hayom, v'achshav nena mimenu, because the fire was forbidden all day, and now one can enjoy its benefits. The Gemara now asks, Meisvei, ein mevarchen al ha'or ela b'motzei Shabbos. The Brisa says that we only say the bracha on Motzei Shabbos, and cites a machlokes of Tana Kama and Rabbi Yehuda, which we will come back to, about when on Motzei Shabbos to say the bracha of Baimer ha'esh. Rabbi Yochanan paskins like Rabbi Yehuda. Now, since Rabbi Yehuda does not argue with the first part of the Brisa, Rabbi Yochanan too must hold that Baimer ha'esh is said only on Motzei Shabbos, in contradiction of what we said earlier that Rabbi Yochanan holds that Baimer ha'esh is said on Motzei Kippurim as well. The Gemara answers, Loi kasha, kam ba'ar sheshavas, kam ba'ar hayotzim min ha'etzim o min ha'avanim. A fire that existed on Yom Kippurim, we say a bracha on it Motzei Yom Kippurim when it becomes permissible to use. However, a fire that did not previously exist and is first kindled now only warrants a bracha on Motzei Shabbos, which is when fire was first created. Now, back to the machlekes of the Tana Kama and Rabbi Yehuda about when to say Baimer ha'esh. The Tana Kama says, "V'kibin shiroya mevarich miyad." One should recite the bracha as soon as he sees a fire. As the Gemara later says, Rebbe mefazrin. Rebbe would separate them. He would recite Baimer ha'esh whenever fire was brought before him, and Baimer besamim when besamim was brought before him. Rabbi Yehuda Omer sodrin alakos. He should recite the bracha together with Havdalah on a cup of wine. Likewise, Rabbi Chia mekantzen. Rabbi Chia would gather them together, as we do today al hakos. Rabbi Yochanan halacha Rabbi Yehuda. The Gemara asks, V'ar b'motzei Shabbos ivri? The Gemara questions whether fire was really first created on Motzei Shabbos. After all, Rabbi Nechemia adds fire to the list of things that were created Erev Shabbos, bein hashmashas. It cannot be referring to the fire of Gehenna, because the Brisa lists the Gehenna as one of the things that was created kodim shnivra ha'olam, before the creation of the world. Furthermore, another Brisa teaches that the fire of Gehenna, which can never be extinguished, was created on the second day of creation. The Gemara ultimately explains, Chalala kodim shnivra ha'olam. The space of Gehenna was among the 7 things created before the world was created. Or didei, b'sheni b'Shabbos. The fire of Gehenna was created on the second day of creation. Or didan, b'machshava aluli baris b'erev Shabbos. Maharsha explains that the potential for making fire was created Erev Shabbos bein hashmashas, v'loi nivra ad Motzei Shabbos. The fire was actually only created Motzei Shabbos when Hashem gave Adam the wisdom to rub 2 stones together to make fire, and to mate a horse and a donkey to make a mule. Ibn Shimon Gamliel holds that it was not Adam, but Anna, an illegitimate child of Tzivan, and his mother who created the mule. Before the Mishnah, the Gemara cites 3 brises. The first brisa lists Asar Dvarim Nivru be'erev Shabbos bein hashmashas, the 10 things that were created Erev Shabbos bein hashmashas, with 3 possible additions. The second brisa lists Shiva Dvarim mechusim imnei Adam, 7 things that are concealed from people, among them the day of death, the thoughts of others, and major political events. The third brisa lists Shloisha Dvarim Olu b'machshava libaros, v'mloi alu din hu shialu. 3 things that Hashem first created the potential for it, that were later actually created, and were necessary to be created. They are: corpses should decompose, people should forget the pain of losing a relative, and grain should eventually rot. We continue with another halacha of minig hamakim. Zak the Mishnah, makim shenahagu lasis malacha b'tisha b'av oisin, makim shenahagu shaloi lasis ein oisin. A person should follow the local custom with regard to doing malacha on Tisha B'av. Ub'chol makim tamid chacham b'teil. A Talmid Chacham should certainly not do malacha. Everybody should act like a Talmid Chacham and avoid malacha on Tisha B'av. Amar Shmuel, ein tainis tzibur b'Bavel, ela Tisha B'av bilvad. Shmuel says that the only fast in Bavel that has all the halachas of the tainis tzibur for rain in Eretz Yisrael is Tisha B'av. The Gemara first thinks this means that Shmuel holds we have to fast even during Ben Hashmashis of the night before. But ultimately, the Gemara says that even on a tainus for rain, there is no need to fast during Bein Hashmashos, and the same would apply for Tisha B'Av. When the Brisa contrasts Tisha B'Av with Yom Kippurim by saying, Zeh Sveikei Aser v'Zeh Sveikei Mutter, a doubt about Yom Kippurim is treated stringently, but a doubt about Tisha B'Av is treated leniently, the Gemara at first understood it to mean that we may eat in Bein Hashmashos of Tisha B'Av, but not of Yom Kippurim. However, the Gemara concludes that it means that if we're not sure of the exact date of Tisha B'Av, we can be lenient and fast only one day. While on Yom Kippurim, we would have to fast 2 days. In the context of figuring out whether Rabbi Yochanan holds that we have to fast during Bein Hashmashos of Tisha B'Av, the Gemara has 5 possible interpretations of what he means when he says Tisha B'Av Einoi K'tainis Tzibur. Tisha B'Av is not like a fast for rain in Eretz Yisrael. First, maybe Rabbi Yochanan means that it is mutter to eat during Bein Hashmashos of Tisha B'Av as opposed to Tainis Tzibur. However, the Gemara already said earlier that even in a Tainis Tzibur it is mutter to eat during Bein Hashmashos. Second, he might mean that it is technically mutter to do work on Tisha B'Av as opposed to Tainis Tzibur. The Gemara rejects this possibility because our Mishnah already teaches that it is mutter to do work on Tisha B'Av. Even Reb Shimon Gamliel, who said everybody can be like a Talmid Chacham and refrain from work, only meant that it is mutter to refrain from work, and it is not an issue of yuhara, of arrogance. Third, Rabbi Yochanan may have meant that there is no tefillas ne'ilah on Tisha B'Av, as there is for a Tainis Tzibur. Fourth, Rabbi Yochanan may have meant that we do not say 24 brachas in Shemona Esrei on Tisha B'Av as we do on the Tainis Tzibur. Finally, maybe he meant Tisha B'Av is not like the first set of Tainis Tzibur for rain when it is mutter to eat the night before, but is like the later set of fast for rain when it is usher to eat at night and even Bein Hashmashos. The daf concludes by asking how the Brisa can say that the only difference between Tisha B'Av and Yom Kippurim is how to treat a case of Suffolk, implying that washing even a single finger is usher on Tisha B'Av, considering another Brisa that equates Tisha B'Av with Tainis Tzibur when we may wash panav yodav v'raglav, face, hands, and feet. The Gemara answers, Amar Papa, Tana kuli kuli katani. The Tanaim that compare Tisha B'Av to both Yom Kippurim and to Tainis Tzibur were only trying to highlight leniencies about Tisha B'Av that don't apply to the others, but not stringencies, such as washing minor body parts, which is mutter on Tainis Tzibur and usher on Tisha B'Av.